Get out of my sight, you disgusting old man. Sarah Mitchell, the glamorous marketing director of Apex Corp, recoiled as the elderly janitor accidentally bumped into her, spilling coffee on her $3,000 Chanel suit. "Do you have any idea how much this costs?" she shrieked, her voice echoing through the marble lobby. "More than you'll make in a year, you worthless." The janitor, a frail man in his late 60s with kind eyes and weathered hands, simply nodded and began cleaning up the mess with trembling fingers. "I'm so sorry, ma'am," he whispered. Sarah's assistant, Jennifer, rushed over with napkins. Around them, other employees stopped to watch the scene unfold. Some looked uncomfortable. Others pulled out their phones.
"Sorry."
Sarah's laugh was cruel. "Sorry doesn't fix my suit. You know what? I'm calling security. People like you shouldn't even be allowed in this building." She turned to the growing crowd. "Can you believe they let someone like him work here? Look at him. Probably can't even read." But then something unexpected happened. Marcus Chun, the CEO's personal assistant, pushed through the crowd. His face had gone completely white. "Ms. Mitchell," he said, his voice shaking, "I need you to step into the conference room."
"Right. Now."
Sarah smirked. "I'm busy dealing with."
"Now."
Marcus's voice cracked with urgency. "Before you make the biggest mistake of your life." In the conference room, Marcus closed the door and turned to Sarah, sweat beading on his forehead. "Do you have any idea who that man is?" Sarah rolled her eyes. "Some janitor who can't do his job properly." "Why are you defending him?" Marcus pulled up something on his tablet and thrust it toward her. "That janitor is Henry Morrison." Sarah blinked. "So, Henry Morrison," Marcus repeated slowly. "The founder of Morrison Tech Net Worth, $4.7 billion. The man who OWNS this building. The man who owns Apex Corporation. The man who owns everything." The color drained from Sarah's face. That's impossible. Why would a billionaire be mopping floors?" Marcus sat down heavily. 6 months ago, Mr. Morrison's wife of 40 years died. She was the love of his life. After she passed, he went into a deep depression. His therapist suggested he needed to reconnect with reality, with regular people, with the ground level of the empire he built. He pulled up a photo of Henry Morrison from 5 years ago, clean-shaven, in an expensive suit, shaking hands with the president. So he started working as a janitor in his own building, under a fake name. No security detail, no special treatment. He wanted to see how his employees really behaved when they thought no one important was watching. He wanted to see if the company culture he built still existed, or if people had become cruel, Sarah whispered, her hand over her mouth. Marcus nodded grimly. "Every executive in this company has been under evaluation for 6 months. Mr. Morrison has been taking notes, making decisions about promotions, raises, firings, all based on how people treated him as a janitor." "Who else knows?" Sarah asked desperately. "The real CEO, James Patterson, and myself. That's it." Marcus showed her his tablet again. "But in 15 minutes, there's a board meeting where Mr. Morrison planned to reveal himself and announce major changes based on what he's observed." Sarah felt her world collapsing. I didn't mean those things. I was just having a bad day. You called him worthless. You said people like him shouldn't be allowed in the building. You humiliated him in front of 30 employees." Marcus's voice was ice cold. "And this isn't the first time. I've seen you belittle the cleaning staff, the cafeteria workers, the security guards. You treat anyone you consider beneath you like garbage." There was a knock on the door. Jennifer, Sarah's assistant, poked her head in. "Sarah, I need to talk to you about something." Marcus stepped aside. Jennifer walked in, her usual timid demeanor replaced with quiet confidence. "I'm quitting," Jennifer said simply. "Effective immediately. I've accepted a position as Mr. Morrison's new executive assistant. He offered it to me this morning." Sarah's jaw dropped. "He what?" Jennifer smiled, a real smile, not the fake one she used around Sarah. "For 6 months, I've watched you scream at me, belittle me, take credit for my work." Mr. Morrison noticed. He noticed that despite your treatment, I always stopped to talk to him. I learned his name, or what I thought was his name. I asked about his grandchildren. I shared my lunch with him when he forgot his. She pulled out her phone and showed them a text message. Jennifer, this is Henry Morrison. I'd like to offer you the EA position with a starting salary of $180,000 plus benefits. You've shown more leadership and compassion as an assistant than most executives show in their entire careers. Sarah felt tears burning in her eyes. Not from sadness, from rage, from humiliation, from fear. But that's not even the best part, Jennifer continued. Remember David from accounting? The guy you got fired last month for incompetence when he was actually covering for your mistakes. Sarah's blood ran cold. Mr. Morrison knew. He's been reinstating David with a promotion and full back pay. And that cleaning lady, Rosa, who you reported for stealing when she took leftover food from the corporate lunch. She has 3 kids, Sarah whispered, the memory flooding back. She has 3 kids, Jennifer confirmed. Mr. Morrison found out you lied to get her fired. She's being rehired as head of facilities management. 6-figure salary. Marcus checked his watch. The board meeting starts in 5 minutes. Mr. Morrison wants you there, Ms. Mitchell. The walk to the boardroom felt like a funeral march. Sarah's heels clicked against a marble, the same marble that Henry Morrison had been mopping when she humiliated him an hour ago. The boardroom doors opened. 20 executives sat around the massive table. And at the head of the table, no longer in a janitor's uniform but in an impeccable navy suit, sat Henry Morrison. He looked different now, not frail, not elderly, but powerful. Commanding. His kind eyes had turned to steel. Ms. Mitchell, he said quietly, please have a seat. Sarah sank into the nearest chair, her legs unable to support her. For 6 months, Henry began, addressing the room, I've been working as a janitor in this building. The building I designed. The company I founded 35 years ago, with $500 and a dream. Gasps echoed around the table. Several executives had gone pale. I didn't do this as a game. I did it because somewhere along the way, I lost touch with the people who make this company run. And I needed to know if the values I built this company on, respect, integrity, compassion, still existed. Henry stood up, walking slowly around the table. I learned a lot. I learned that Tom from IT stays late every night, helping anyone who needs it, never asking for recognition. I learned that Marcus here, he nodded at his assistant, has been secretly paying for the college tuition of 2 maintenance workers' children out of his own pocket. He paused behind Sarah's chair. She could feel his presence like a weight on her shoulders. I also learned that some people in this organization have forgotten that every person, regardless of their job title, deserves respect. That some people have become so drunk on their own importance that they've lost their humanity. Henry placed a folder in front of Sarah. She opened it with shaking hands. Inside were printed screenshots. Her emails calling the support staff idiots. Security camera footage of her yelling at a delivery driver. Text messages where she made fun of employees' appearances, their accents, their backgrounds. I didn't just watch how you treated me, Henry said softly. I watched how you treated everyone you thought couldn't fight back. Sarah's voice cracked. Mr. Morrison,
I'm sorry.
I'll do anything to make this right. I'll change, I promise. You're fired, Ms. Mitchell. Effective immediately. Security will escort you out. But as Sarah stood, tears streaming down her face, Henry raised his hand. However, he said, and the room fell silent. I'm going to give you something my wife taught me to always give, a second chance. Not here. Not at Apex Corporation. But I own a small community outreach center in Queens. It serves homeless families, provides job training, helps people get back on their feet. Sarah looked up confused. You're going to work there for 1 year. Minimum wage. You'll serve meals, clean facilities, help with job applications. You'll work directly with the people you've spent your career looking down on. And if at the end of that year, you've learned what it means to treat people with dignity, we'll talk about your future. The room was stunned into silence. Why? Sarah whispered. Why would you give me a chance after everything I've done? Henry's eyes softened for the first time. Because 6 months ago, I was broken. I was drowning in grief and anger and emptiness. And do you know who pulled me out of it? He gestured around the room. The janitor who worked the night shift who talked to me about losing his own wife. The cafeteria worker who noticed I wasn't eating and made sure I got meals. The security guard who asked if I was okay when he saw me crying in the stairwell at 2 a.m. His voice grew thick with emotion. The people you considered worthless saved my life. They showed me that success isn't measured in dollars or titles. It's measured in how you treat people when you have nothing to gain from being kind. He looked directly at Sarah. My wife used to say that some people aren't born cruel, they just forget how to be human. You forgot, Ms. Mitchell. This is your chance to remember. Sarah Mitchell stood in the community center, her hair tied back, wearing jeans and a simple t-shirt. She was helping a young mother fill out job applications. You're going to do great at this interview, Sarah encouraged, reviewing the woman's resume. Your experience is impressive. The woman smiled nervously. Thank you for helping me. A year ago, I was living in my car with my 2 kids. This place, people like you saved our lives. Sarah felt tears prick her eyes, but these were different tears than the ones she'd cried a year ago. These were tears of gratitude. Her phone buzzed. A text from Henry Morrison. Meeting at Apex Corp tomorrow.
9 Uhr morgens.
Let's talk about your future. That night, Sarah sat in her modest apartment, so different from the penthouse she'd lost, and thought about the year that had changed her life. She'd served meals to people who reminded her of the janitor she'd humiliated. She'd helped formerly incarcerated people find jobs. She'd held crying children while their parents attended job training. She'd learned names, stories, dreams. She'd learned to be human again. The next morning, Sarah walked into Apex Corp for the first time in a year. Employees stared as she passed. Some whispered. She kept her head high, but her heart humble. In Henry's office, she found him sitting with Jennifer, who'd thrived as his executive assistant. Sarah, Henry said warmly, gesturing to a chair. Thank you for coming. Jennifer and I have been following your progress at the center. The director says you've been exceptional. I've learned more this year than in my entire career, Sarah said honestly. I learned that I was wrong about everything that mattered. Henry nodded. We're opening a new division, corporate social responsibility. We're going to work with community centers, homeless shelters, job training programs across the country. It'll be a multi-million-dollar initiative. Sarah's heart raced. Was he offering her a job? Jennifer is going to run it, Henry continued, and Sarah's heart sank, then immediately lifted with genuine happiness for her former assistant. Congratulations, Jennifer, Sarah said, meaning it. You'll be amazing. Which is why I need you, Jennifer said, smiling, as my director of operations. If you want the job. Sarah looked between them, stunned. You want me to work under Jennifer? I want you to work with Jennifer, Henry corrected. Building something that matters. Using your skills, because you are talented, Sarah, to help people instead of climbing over them. Sarah felt emotion overwhelming her.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. As she stood to shake their hands, Henry added one more thing. There's someone else who'd like to say hello. The door opened, and in walked Rosa, the cleaning lady Sarah had gotten fired. She was in a professional suit, looking confident and strong. Rosa is our new head of facilities management, Henry explained. She'll be overseeing all building operations across our properties. Sarah's voice shook.
Rosa,
I'm so sorry for what I did to you. There's no excuse. Rosa held up her hand, then did something unexpected. She hugged Sarah. I forgive you, Rosa said simply. We all deserve a chance to grow. As Sarah left the building that day, not in shame, but in hope, she passed by a young executive screaming at a delivery worker in the lobby. She walked over calmly. Excuse me, I couldn't help but notice the situation. Is everything okay? The executive sneered. This idiot can't follow simple directions. I used to be like you, Sarah said quietly, so others couldn't hear. I thought my title made me better than people. I was wrong, and it cost me everything. She handed him her business card. When you're ready to learn what really matters, give me a call. But trust me, Don't wait as long as I did. As she walked out into the New York sunshine, Sarah smiled. She'd lost a high-paying job, a penthouse, and her pride. But she'd gained something infinitely more valuable, her humanity. And in the end, that was worth more than all the money in the world. Remember, how you treat people when you think no one important is watching reveals who you truly are. Treat everyone with respect. You never know who they might be, but more importantly, you should know who you are.